Everybody, it's Rebecca Kramer here, and I am really excited because today I have Gianna Miceli. Gianna, I hope that I said that the right way.
I'm Miceli in Europe, and I kind of like it. It's a little snobby, so I'll take it. Gianna, when I was in Italy, that's Gianna Miceli, and it's so sexy.
It does. It does.
So
It sounds
sexy,
very,
right?
very
You
sexy.
just move to Europe and be that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? I think any excuse to move to Europe, right?
Maybe when the COVID's over.
Exactly. So I want to welcome you. I'm so excited to have you. You have so many things going on. And really, I mean, I think that a lot of us can learn how we can be successful females in particular. That's, I mean, definitely what you represent. And maybe you can tell us like a little bit about what you do, and yeah, and then we'll just kind of go through some questions to talk about.
Thank you. I'm happy to talk about myself. Well, nobody is in high school or even college and says, I'm going to be a menopause weight loss expert. You know, now that we have this entire world open up, I don't even know if we had like coaching, mentoring people prior to social media, but you know, here we are, that there's people, you can solve a problem, you can have a business. Can you solve a problem fast? You can have a better business. So I solved a problem that happened to me, and I was so excited. Well, I solved this problem going against the medical establishment, which I just didn't believe in. And I went in Facebook groups. There's like 50 menopause Facebook groups. And I was so ready to just share this fantastic way I reclaimed my health. And I was met with such furious anger, like, rah, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's really a shame that women are so programmed that they feel malaise, that it's a medical issue, and they're so averse to nutrition. And when I'm talking about nutrition, it doesn't mean, oh, I need to go plant-based. You know, that is not nutrition at all. We're talking about your metabolic processes being disrupted on a cellular level. And even though I have like 4 amazing naturopath doctor mentors, and even the doctor who's like one of my top guys, who's like 74 years old, who was a traditional MD, worked in an emergency room, had a practice, married a nurse, everything traditional. It wasn't until his wife got sick with mercury toxicity poisoning, which they didn't know. That toxicity brought on the typical symptoms of Hashimoto's. So you go to a regular doctor, they're, oh, you got Hashimoto's and here's your prescriptions. And then she got worse and worse. And finally he found someone that led him to, no, your wife has metal toxicities. And so they started going to places to learn about that. That did not even happen until like 10 years ago when the man was 64. So there's so much untapped knowledge that I feel so grateful that has come my way, that I absolutely know this is my jam. What I do in the universe, what has come to me, is finding the nutritional deficiencies, which doesn't mean you need to eat more bananas. You know, it's very deep on a cellular level, because once you go through the menopause, the biggest thing that I say is they're telling you lies. They're lying about food. They're lying about the protocol. They lie that you need hysterectomies. Like, I could talk all day, just so you know.
Wow.
All day about it. When it's really, the menopause just means you're no longer reproductive. Your body knows you're running out of eggs. You do not need the same amount of estrogen that you needed when you were fertile.
Yeah.
Now I am almost 10 years post-menopause. Would you take me to be a lady that's not infertile anymore? I mean, that's not fertile anymore. Like, nobody would know that. So when they say, oh, you lose your estrogen and your progesterone, well, yeah, it's lowering, but it doesn't mean that your body doesn't have a natural backup system. When the ovaries shut down, the adrenals turn up. And that's where we find the problem: the adrenals, the liver, the digestion, the thyroid. So that is what is messed up. It's not necessarily that you're going to be in a life of gloom and doom because you've now lowered your reproductive hormones.
Wow. So, I mean, that's a lot. So you went into these Facebook groups to understand and ask questions, and people.
Yeah. I went to tell them the information. And that's the hugest mistake. You go in these groups and there's literally 25, 50,000. I think the biggest one I've seen is 50,000. And someone will say, did you ever take this kind of, there's many kinds of HRT. And 50,000 women is not going to give you the answer. It's all different because of our metabolics, and it's so intricate. When I really, really dove into the HRT, I have a book called The Truth About HRT and Bioidentical Hormones and Natural Menopause. I think I call it cures or something like that. If you go to your doctor, there's so many things. Do you have heart disease? Have you ever smoked? Like all these different, very specific questions that you may not be a candidate. But I'll tell you that we're all not candidates, because there is information finally coming to the surface now that taking birth control, which many women do their whole lives, since you're like teenagers, taking birth control and taking HRT, which are nearly identical, destroys your gut health. So that means it's destroying the lining in your small intestine. That's where it's as thin as a cell. That's where most of the activity happens, where your hormones are made. That's where most disease comes from, that you're permeating, like you're literally poking holes in it. And that's where all this autoimmune comes from.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
Mm-hmm. That to the point now that some ladies asked me on Instagram, you shouldn't be saying depression is it's in your gut health. Well, if you would come to me, we could start there before we start giving you brain altering drugs. Because she said, my husband's a psychiatrist and he knows more than you. So, oh, that's wonderful. Then your husband must be aware of the new psychiatry certification that has now evolved called psychiatric nutrition.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They're figuring it out.
All these interesting things. I mean, it's exciting that you've discovered them. Obviously, you didn't discover them, or maybe not obviously, before you were, middle aged. So what are some things that maybe women can do if they are middle aged and they're kind of not sure what's going on, or how can they, I guess some ideas, if you have a few.
I got ideas. I'll tell you what I think a lot of women did. When I was 37, I vividly remember this. I heard Suzanne Summers, which I'm 54 now, so do the math when her books came out. I heard her on the Rosie O'Donnell talk show. They were breaking down, which I like Suzanne, but they were talking about bioidentical hormones, which I'd say that she was probably a person who put them on the map. And I'm just getting dressed while I listen to it, and I'm like, when this happens to me, I'll just read her book. She sounds like she knows what she's talking about, right? And then so from 39, I did this wonderful photo shoot for my website. It was like one of the most beautiful pictures. I was like feeling amazing about myself, turning 40. And I was trying to level my life up and to be something more than I was. And I used to do this lady's hair from Fox Business. And I saw what she did. She spoke on stages and she had books and she did coaching. Well, that's kind of cool. I think I would like to do that, but I didn't know what I could do. And she's like, well, you look good for turning 40. Why don't you write a book about women turning 40? And I'm from the Midwest, so I did not even know what a blowout was. I did not know women go to their hairdressers just to get their hair blown out, like even without a haircut. So go to New York and you meet the Colombian beauty mafia and the Asian beauty mafia. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks that I never heard before. And I didn't move to New York till I was 34 years old. I'm like, wow, that's weird. And hair extensions and all kinds of things. So it was really going to be like kind of a beauty book to expand people's horizons. And during the year that I wrote that book, I started to put on weight rapidly. Now I was 41 because I didn't know how to write a book. It took a long time. I started to put on weight very quickly. And I come from two obese parents. And in my 30s, I started to get cystic acne, which my mother had all her life. So now I got the acne. I go to a doctor. I'm taking antibiotics. If I stopped taking the antibiotics, the acne would come back. I did not feel beautiful. I was like, oh my God, I can't have pimples all over my face. And then I started to put on the weight. I was on the antibiotics for 9 years. And what I know now is that that destroyed my gut health because I really wasn't being unhealthy. I'm not a person that has a bad lifestyle. I don't smoke. I hardly drink. And into drugs, So then this weight's coming on, and there's just nothing I could do that would get it off. I went to boxing and trainers and spent $18,000. I went to those medical weight loss centers where like they have Metafast and they give you B12 shots and everything's $3,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
And you do nothing but get more fat. So now 2 years have gone by. Now I'm 43, and this is like my full-time focus every night on the computer, just typing. And I lost my relationship because my boyfriend's like, I can't stand that sound anymore of my fingernails on the thing. And I got my first hot flash. And I was like, wow, could I be going into menopause? Now, I am an unmarried, childless woman. We think of menopause ladies as old ladies, like they're in their 60s. I'm only 43. And, I was still considered myself good looking, but not as much as I was, because now I'm getting very heavy and I'm very miserable and I got the pimples and I'm just like very sad. But that hot flash came. So then I got Suzanne's book and then I just disagreed. I just didn't think you need fake hormones. I'm like, this is very natural. And that just began a deep dive. And I found, which you have to go very deep because Google's very paid for. You can pay for things.
I know.
Go very deep until I saw this doctor who said menopause is the biggest, I'm sorry, I want to say it right. Menopause is the biggest fraud perpetrated on American women in the past 90 years. Oh, wow, that is some sentence, and he's a doctor. What is that all about? In that, he led me down the rabbit hole to find out where's the origination from. It was estrogen replacement therapy, became HRT because the ERT, which was supposed to prevent miscarriages, did the opposite and made pregnant women have miscarriages, which was that an accident? I don't know. But it gave them cancer, and it gave not only the women who took it cancer, but their offspring and the offspring of the offspring. Now, this is all FDA approved. We all want everything FDA approved, but the FDA knew for 20 years that it gave people cancer, and it wasn't taken off from the market till 1972. And not until they changed it they added progesterone, and now it went from ERT to HRT, and they paid a doctor the equivalent to like $12 million today. 1.2 million back in 1966 is a lot of freaking money to write this book called Feminine Forever. It's on Amazon, but it's like out of print and stuff. And to pay ghostwriters to put articles in, they're literally just creating propaganda to make this buzz that women have untreated menopause, like it's a death sentence and you would lose your femininity. And so they paid ghostwriters to put articles in all the magazines our mothers read, Cosmo, Redbook, Reader's Digest, Women's Day, all of our mothers have that stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's...
I remember.
Then it's an industry. The industry was born. The precancer is an industry. Hysterectomies are an industry. So say you've got some fibroids on your uterus. It happens. Instead of saying, wow, why does this lady have fibroids? Let's look at what is she eating? What is she toxified with? What are her daily habits? No problem. We'll put you into a $30,000 hysterectomy. Now, did the doctor solve your problem that you no longer have uterine fibroids? Sure. Now you got a hysterectomy. Now you've got a whole other slew of problems, so they don't go to the root cause.
It looks like a couple of people have put some comments in the chat. I have been on a leaky gut handling for 9 months, down 25 pounds.
What? Healing?
Handling for 9 months, down 25 pounds, and I'm 52, not in menopause. Take bioidentical hormones. That was one of the comments, and people are just really engaging and continuing to ask questions and find out. I don't know if you have a comment on, sorry, my daughter is here. Baby, I'm just, okay, one second. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, can you close the door? Sorry. Okay. Live video, right? Live video. Okay, so I
says she's down 25 pounds. I didn't quite hear it all.
Yes. So it says I have been on a leaky gut, handling for 9 months, done 25 pounds, and I'm 52, not in menopause. Take bioidentical hormones. Maybe we can. We can take that offline and find out. Maybe
I would wonder why she's on them then. What for? But
yeah,
the 25-pound loss is from handling your gut health, not because.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. At this building I live in, we have like a little cafe downstairs, and I started talking to some lady, and then she finds out what I do. She's wanted to talk. Well, she's been on the bioidentical hormones for 15 years. You're only supposed to be on them for 5. My mother did that too. My mother had a full hysterectomy, and I said, why do you keep getting them? And she said, they just keep giving them to me. I said, well, why do you take them? And then she didn't know that they did put weight on my mother, and she was on Lexapro. They never told her that would put weight on her too. 15 years she's on these drugs, and she just stopped taking them, and she felt no different. The lady downstairs, she's 65, so she's been on this BHRT for 15 years. She just moved from New York to Florida, so she got a new doctor. She shared the story with me. She goes to the new doctor and shows her BHRT prescription, and he looks at her and he says, this is like you're taking nothing. It's like, it's just non-existent. And she paid $500 a month for it. So, you know, there's a lot of questions. I obviously don't know this woman. I don't know anything about her. I'm just saying there's stories that I hear, and I just don't think they're necessary. There's a lot of ladies on Instagram that are the influence with the Dutch test. They literally say, you're low on estradiol. Well, yeah, I'm out of eggs, you know, and are you taking it because you think you're going to look more youthful or something? Because you could just do that from food and not have to put foreign substances in your body. The food works on a cellular level. The cells create the tissues, and the tissues create the systems. And when you're nutritionally deficient, in one of my books, it will go through the symptoms of being these nutritionally deficient symptoms, when it's not really the menopause, it's really the nutrition. And no one could possibly be hurt by turning up the dial on their nutrition.
For sure. I mean, it sounds like you have a substantial amount of knowledge, clearly on this topic, but you've had people who are obviously absolutely against what you have to say. So how
are there? Okay.
Sorry?
Are there? I don't, there's...
Well, just like you said, when you went into the Facebook groups and you announced...
Here's the thing. What is my definition of being healthy may not be someone else's. I don't want to be fat. My first book is called Why American Women Are So Fat, Sick, Tired, and Angry. That's what I was. Fat, sick, tired, and then angry after $18,000 and 5 doctors, 3 endocrinologists, my gynecologist, and an internist could not figure out what was wrong with me and could not help me lose weight. So it wasn't until I found a naturopath, and they're not all like this. I've bought an HCG twice from a 500-pound naturopath because that's how desperate I was to lose weight. There's like literally nothing I haven't been through till finally I found this woman who turned me on to the things that I now talk about. And I lost 7 pounds the first week. And it was the first time I had seen the needle on the scale move in 4 years. And then I was finally on my way, and I've been on my way. I have never regained the fat. And not only that, but like, I always feel like I could improve. I don't think I have this perfect body. I'm not trying to be a fitness model, but for 54, I look pretty freaking good. And sometimes I might see myself in walking the jog, and I see myself and I was like, oh, I look so strong. Like, I might not see that in the mirror in the house, but I'm where I live in Florida. I'm wearing shorts. Like, wow, my legs look so strong. And for me, so what is the definition of healthy? I believe that those hormones are going to weaken your bones. It's really lies that they're not helping you with your heart or osteoporosis. Then why do we have so much of it? We have the highest consumption of these hormones. We have the highest osteoporosis. We have the highest dairy consumption. It's not really what your bones are made out of. You can't take calcium pills and they're going to do anything. You're just taking expensive urine and putting it in the toilet. It's really from the essential aminos. So if we want to dive down to there, you could go to a nutritionist and say, Gianna, you need 50 grams of protein a day, for your height and weight, whatever. Well, I could look at a can of tuna and some wheat bread and figure out, oh, this is the amount of protein. And if I eat this amount, I'm going to make my daily limit. But all protein is not created equal.
Right.
And that's where the deficiency comes in. So what's created now in my nutrition is I don't have to be so serious on a menu because I've now fine-tuned my body. Like, imagine all the cogs working, the liver, the kidneys, the digestion is really mostly where it is, because when you're getting rid of these hormones, which takes 10 years, as you go through the menopause, they're going to get excreted through your liver. So there's some ladies that they'll say they're happy. Oh my God, I love my hormones. And I'm sorry, not sorry. I'll go look at that woman. That is an obese woman. If that's what she thinks is healthy, because maybe taking these hormones got rid of some symptoms, but what did you trade it for? Because I have hundreds of emails and testimonials. You go in any of those groups, women take this, they are getting cancer, they are getting fatter and sicker. It might handle this, but then it gives you this on the other side. I have a lady who's on 24 meds all her adult life. 12 meds were to get rid of the symptoms of the other 12. Got off 24 meds just by changing her menu.
Wow,
Who
that's
am I going to look at?
crazy.
I'm just not interested in the meds. And then the ladies will say, well, we're all different. Well, we're not really different. We're really different in that we all have different metabolics based on what we eat. Because why aren't they sick in Japan? They're not. They don't even have a word for menopause.
Wow.
They don't even have it because they don't have it.
So I mean, it's taken you obviously have figured it out. Like, what have you done to get your message? Because well, first of all, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, and you're very passionate, and it's impacted you, and it sounds like other females substantially positively. So how do you get your message out, or what do you do to get your message out so that you can help other people?
Well, it's very jarring when you first start doing something that goes against the grain. And for many years, I was dying to be wrong. I'm like, I must be wrong. I must be wrong from the medical establishment. So when I first was looking into this, what did I do? I joined not joined, but you can get on the newsletter of the North American Menopause Society. They certainly sound very official, don't they? And you start getting, go ahead, sign up, get their newsletters. It's like blah, 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 doctor talk, blah, 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 doctor talk, blah, 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 doctor talk paragraph. And then the bottom paragraph, women should move more and eat less. Can anyone eat less and exercise more? No, my ladies are exhausted. Their brains are fried. They're burnt out. They're dieted down to the point that no matter what they eat, they get fat because they've ruined their metabolism. I like to call it like from here to where things exit is like underneath the hood of a car. So you can be putting in very expensive gas, but if you don't check the oil and the filters, and there she is, the oil and the filters and the air in the tires, your car will run, but it's not going to run optimally. So when I think about me being an old woman, and I might have a different motivation because I am a single person and I have no family, I have to earn income and be mobile. It's not that, oh, I want to wear a bikini, I want to be skinny for the rest of my life, although that's a great aspect. I don't want to fall and break bones and be frail and be brittle and have to walk with a walker. That is most important to me. It's the leanness comes second. So how am I going to do that? What's going to take care of that? I have to take care of my bone health and my lean muscle health. And so I do that by the supplements that I take. That I have a like 4-step proprietary program. First, we got to clean the house, which is the gut health, as the lady has obviously, this lady who's watching did a great job on some long-term gut health. But I like to say that's sending in the firefighters to put out the fire. Then you've got to put in good gut health. That's like the paramedics come in and repair the fire. And then we start dealing with your nutrition. We've got to find out what's broken, because if you go to 99% of people that are going to help you with weight loss, they're going to talk about your calories and your macronutrients. And that's just such a small part. You've got to fix the broken parts first. Then your system is so good when if your liver's not working well and your body's getting rid of the hormones, they're going to get stuck. There's a 2-step process through the liver. They get stuck in the liver, then they get stuck in your intestines, and they take several spins around your body before you can get them out. Hello, hot flashes. It's exasperating it. But then you get all the cogs working, the liver, the kidneys, the digestion, your adrenals and your thyroid are very tied together to the post-menopause creation of estrogen and progesterone. So if the systems are working, you are going to be like a rock star. You're going to have energy. You're going to feel good. Your skin, your hair, everything's going to be good.
And so what you kind of just mentioned, is that what you talk about in your weight loss rescue kit? Or what?
My weight loss rescue kit covers every conceivable question that women have about menopause. So for a long time, I was working on, I want to do your metabolic analysis first, and then let's discuss the nutritional needs you have. But I go in the groups because I make videos based on people's questions, and I come up with content because we are in social selling, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's where I get a lot of ideas, and I'm tapping into the market. But they always want, here's the number one question: what can I take for this? And an insert miserable menopause symptom. And it's always one individual thing instead of looking at the totality. So I've been trying to you got to look at the totality, you got to do a metabolic health analysis like what the lady did for me that finally got things moving. And that's a hard sell. And my friend's like, Gianna, people want products. People want products. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to get the products that I use. So I buy them at wholesale and I offer them in a membership now. So the Menopause Weight Loss Rescue Kit, like it's all your questions in a box. So you get this box that comes here and says, hello, gorgeous, because I know you want to be told you're gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, sexy box. And so the beginning of, if you want to conquer this like I have, like natural, long term, we're not doing short term things, we're doing things that I'm concerned about being 64 and 74 and 84. It's not so much, can I still wear a bikini at 54? So you need to understand how the hormones work, because then you'll understand that the medical thing is hogwash, that, take these, So I have a little guide, it's free, 10 stupid things women do to create menopause misery. This talks about the actual hormone process that no doctor will ever sit down and explain to you. And I used to live in this building that there was a retiring 35-year gynecologist, and we started to talk, and he thought what I was doing was amazing. And that was like long before I was as amazing as I am now. Like 4 years ago, I didn't have all this. And he said, Jan, I don't have time to sit down with women and explain this to them. I want to get back in surgery where the money's being made. So they're just, and that's why you give you a prescription and you're supposed to come back and report, because he looked at me and I goes, Gianna, no gynecologist could ever look a woman straight in the eye and tell her this is going to work. You're literally throwing shit at the wall and seeing what works. So if you want to know how hormones work, you want to know how to lose weight, what is going on, the Menopause Weight Loss Masterclass is a book. This breaks down the nutrition to the degree that I've kind of introduced here, and we'll tell you about the metabolic processes, how it's all related. But then it comes with a big box of like all these are just literally what I use every day that make the systems function, because it really is micronutrition. And I've got a hormone kit. This is I've just gotten the last year my own products. This one is it's many, if you've seen the ashwagandha and all these kind of exotic herbs that put together help. I can never promise they will get rid of hot flashes, but this is what the ancient people do. And so they're all put together. And I've got my own personal hormone balance. Dream is to help you go to sleep and taste really delicious. This one, Lean and Lovely, is the ingredients here inspire your body to create its own testosterone, which doesn't mean you're going to grow a beard. It's going to help you get leaner, because we lose that as we get older. I've got the urinalysis test kit, everything you can do from home. If you were to be seriously ill, obviously we consult a doctor, but what I teach you that's in this box is how to monitor yourself long before you're on the phone dialing the doctor. This one's control to help you change your cravings. So then it looks like there's a whole lot more, but it's like, wow, that's confusing. Well, I made a book, it's got a book. Yeah. As simple as can be, the Menopause Supplement Guide. It has pictures. So you're literally going to do, it teaches you how to do the metabolic analysis, which is things you do from home over 5 days. And then you literally take a picture of your readings, fill out some symptom things, and I am going to give you the most mind-blowing metabolic analysis that no doctor has ever done for you, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. You'd be all better. That's and amazing. Then what am I going to eat? There's a food guide. It's just a food guide with pictures. I made it this size so it can just go in your kitchen drawer. Hey, I'm going to the grocery store. You take your food guide, you put it in. What am I going to eat the next couple of days? What looks good to me? So it's got variety, and you just buy the ingredients and you cook them. And so it's all in one box. And then you have continuing text message and email support with me. I answer all your questions, but mostly they get lost. The ladies get lost when you need support, because you might have friends that don't want to be as sexy and fabulous as you. Maybe they enjoy being, in a different lifestyle. I don't want to categorize it. And you're going to need someone to cheer you on.
For sure. And I mean, I think it's hard. It's hard for at any age to figure out what you're doing wrong and what can affect your body, and how you can, even how you can learn from someone who knows what they're talking about versus differentiating someone who maybe doesn't know what they're talking about. So what advice could you give to someone who, might be thinking they need they need to start thinking about these things, but they just have no idea where to go, or what questions to ask, or what resources to look at. Because especially, it seems like, especially over the last year, everybody's online, everybody's an expert, everybody's talking about it. You talked about social selling, and I think that we're all being impacted by that, because people are doing a good job of social selling, whether they have the actual knowledge, or have different knowledge that maybe doesn't support what you're saying. How could someone, I guess, differentiate what they should be paying attention to?
Well, it can start, to go to the beginning of the question, it can start as soon as being a teenager, because there is an absolute reason that Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, and autoimmune disorders are rampant in the United States among women over 40. And in addition to depression, 1 in 4 women are on antidepressants, when really, let me tell you this, the top 5 symptoms of Hashimoto's and menopause, the top 5 of the 34 alleged symptoms, I say alleged because they're not really due to menopause, are the same top 5 symptoms of being selenium deficient. So if you go to a doctor and you have these top 5 symptoms, they're going to give you a prescription for metformin, phentermine, maybe HRT, Wellbutrin, an antidepressant, and and Armour for your thyroid, when really you might just need selenium. So your thyroid works best with the same way with the proteins work in clusters, that tuna and whole wheat bread are not the right essential amino cluster. So they go to work in different jobs. The thyroid requires that your body pH be between 6.3 and 6.8, and have 3 very essential minerals and vitamins to work optimally. And now it's working in conjunction with your adrenals. So this starts long before, and you're not going to like it, ladies, but your coffee is creating your menopause misery. And your 25 years of coffee is not only creating your menopause misery, but is an indirect cause of hysterectomies. Now, Gianna,
that's terrible. That's terrible.
I'll tell you why. A daily dose of coffee, it has caffeine. That's why you're drinking it. If you need to wake up with coffee, then you need nutrition. Stop that face. You need nutrition. You should wake up with your cortisol high. Mm-hmm. When I got mine tested, it was at midnight. When I was fat and sick, it was at midnight, which should be at 7 a.m. And of course, here's the cycle. Ladies lose their energy in the afternoon, and then they might go to bed like 9 o'clock, and you get in bed and you're like wide awake, because I get the most emails between 10 and 2, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. because they are awake. And then maybe you fall asleep around 4 a.m. and then you're exhausted to get up at 6 or 7, or whenever you start your day. So you got to have the coffee. So when you drink coffee daily, it is a constant drip on your central nervous system. And when you get drugs are designed to work on your central nervous system. It's the design of all the meds. So it drips on your central nervous system year after year after year, and it gets your body accustomed to the fight or flight, which means you're releasing cortisol. So now, and you get used to it the more, that's why I need 2 cups of coffee, you need 3 cups of coffee to feel better. And it becomes so habitual. Now your body is used to constantly releasing cortisol. So now when you get into the perimenopause, now your estrogen and your progesterone are dropping. Your progesterone drops much faster. And now maybe if you put on a couple of pounds, you become estrogen dominant. So say the average American woman, we all know, is size 14 is being accepted as the normal, when it's just because it is most people doesn't make it acceptable, not visually, but health-wise. So now when your progesterone and your estrogen drop, say if you are a size 14 or even higher, here's your progesterone and estrogen, then you go into perimenopause. This is like this one. I'm looking at myself in the video. This one's at 160, and it's going to drop a certain amount because you still need some estrogen, whereas your progesterone is going to go to 0. The normal ratio would be like 60-0. That's what Mother Nature has designed it to handle. But now it's like this. It's at like 120-0. So that's why you're overweight. That's why you have you have excess estrogen. Now here's the genius. Now, if you go to the doctor and you are fat, sick, and tired, what are they going to do? They're going to put you on HRT, which is giving you more estrogen. All the Dutch test ladies like, oh, you're low on estradiol. And I have had conversations with them. I really think the Dutch test, this is just my own opinion. I don't think there's fact to it, but it's what I see. Every woman who takes the Dutch test is low on something. Oh, so you get BH. It's just a formula to get you to believe that you need the BHRT.
Wow. I bet that people are going to go look up the Dutch test after this.
What you can do, like I just was never a coffee drinker. The first time I drank coffee at 18, I got a job. I went home feeling sick and I did the same. Oh, this is coffee making me feel horrible. I enjoy coffee. I will have it now and then, but I don't need it daily. It's just not something I think about. So I didn't have those problems. But now that you've had the coffee every day and it's dripping on your central nervous system, it's releasing the cortisol. The cortisol has no opposition with the estrogen. So it becomes the enemy of a woman over 40. And that's where she's getting a belly, because now you have more cortisol receptors. So as it's being released, it's just grabbing it. And that's why you have the muffin top. On top of that, though, it works in conjunction with your thyroid and your adrenals. And now those are messed up. They're imbalanced, which now you got the Hashimoto's, which is really just a condition, an autoimmune disorder. Doesn't mean you have to have it forever. You can reverse autoimmune disorders, but they're not profitable. Mm-hmm. It's more profitable for you to be sick. And now look at the cascade. Now you're a woman, I'm defective. There's something wrong with me. Now your self-esteem's gone down the tube. Now you're labeled.
I know, like in my family, there's definitely like hypothyroidism, like all the way, like everybody has. I don't have it yet, but I do like the coffee thing. This is coffee right now. Yeah. That's why I was making that face.
Coffee for 90 days and see what happens. You can always go back.
So I have done it before. I don't need coffee. I've switched where I went to tea. It's just, for me, it's just a habit that in the morning I grab a cup of coffee, and that's kind of how I start my day. I don't feel like I need it, but I like it.
I've never had a client say quitting coffee didn't do anything for me and they went back. They'll end up thanking me.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
It will help. It will help you so much with balance, that less anxiety, depression. I mean, you could go to the street and throw a rock and find a woman who's on antidepressant. 1 in 4 adult women in the United States. That is tremendous amount, when really they might just be imbalanced for these things. So everything stems from your gut health. And when you have gut dysbiosis, there's ladies with candida. That's a reason that you would not be losing weight. There's funguses, there's parasites. One of my friends has over $100,000 in medical bills she'll never be able to pay. 7 years ago, she was diagnosed with the Hashimoto's. And first one was multiple sclerosis, which sounds very serious. And she went on disability. She was literally debilitated. She was obese. So she ended up losing 70 pounds. She took control of things. And she was always in search of, she fortunately has a yearning to feel in her gut that you can cure or reverse this autoimmune. In the last year, she's gone to different doctors saying, we don't think you have MS. We think it's Hashimoto's. So now that she goes down, looking for that, has finally found the information of what is really the cause of the Hashimoto's. So what she found out by stool testing and aminos testing, and of course, blood tests and everything. The blood tests are not enough. It's just a small snapshot of what's going on. But she found out that she is lacking they call it the fat loss bacteria. It has a very long, complicated name I have not memorized, but they call it the fat loss bacteria, and obese people and type 2 diabetics don't have it. You cannot go to the store and buy a bottle of this, this bacteria. It's a good bacteria. You have to create it through your food. So because she didn't have it, her food transit time was very slow. It was 5 days from entry to exit. So now she's got constipation. Hold on. which is obviously very bad because those toxins keep recycling. Now that she has improved that, and then with the stool test, she found out she has a parasite that also keeps the food from transiting. So just through food and supplements, in 2 months, she's lost 16 pounds.
Wow.
Not, and she's gotten off her Hashimoto's thyroid medicine.
That's crazy.
So
that's amazing.
I don't need to sit here and be, I know everything. I can't unknow what I know and the testimonials I have witnessed and created. And through this girlfriend being my friend, we both kind of came up together seeking this nutritional information that we've bounced off each other. I would pick her up from doctors. What they say, she's.
I think Gianna lost. Are you there? Let's just see. I think we lost the connection. Oh my gosh. Gianna was phenomenal. Who knows? Maybe she's going to hop back on. Thanks so much for joining us today. She was just a fabulous guest and so much knowledge, so much information. I am going to throw her information below here so that if you have more questions, you can certainly reach out to her. I know that she has seen huge success. She uses all of her knowledge to help her own self, and she's sharing it with us today. She has been sharing it with us today. So thanks so much for joining us. It looks like her connection got disconnected. All good. I'm going to try one more time. No, she's not there. It's okay. So thanks so much for joining. And I can't wait to see you guys again next week, next Thursday. In the meantime, please join my Facebook group, Social Selling Growth Masters, because that's where we'll probably have some more information. And that's where I share more tips and tricks and ideas for social selling. So thanks so much for joining myself, Rebecca Kramer, today, and Gianna Miceli. She corrected me at the beginning. I apologize. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, guys.